What's going on, viewers? Crypto Wonder coming right at you. So let's get right into it, man. But before we start, subscribe to the channel, like, share, tell a friend to tell a friend. Let's get it. So yeah, um, all this nonsense we going through right now, man. All this nonsense. See, um, I've been in the field for a while, mental health for a very long time. Uh, I think too long. And you know what's crazy? Because even this article right here says global mental health in the time, you know, COVID-19 and uh, article written by this person. I gotta tell you, the effects that's taking place right here is so dramatic. It's daunting. It's widespread. Okay, it's demoralizing. You know, and it's directly and indirectly affecting everyone. One form, in one shape or another. There are people who don't have a clue as to what's really going on right now because of the levels of mental illness that they suffer with. They have no clue. In some cases, we could have pity and feel sorry for them, and in other cases, the other side, you could be like, wow, they're living in a state of bliss. That's where the term ignorance is bliss, can be well suited in the situation, because for those of us who are somewhat cognizant, we have our wherewithal, and we're trying to, really navigate through this maze of uncertainty and confusion. This is an incredible feat. It's just extremely exhausting. It can get so exhausting, draining. So imagine if those of us who don't really suffer with mental illness are dealing are taking this, like we see what's going on, and it's just, it's inducing all types of stress and anxiety and problems, depression, sadness, etc. What do you think? What this continues? Where do you think things are headed? And this is not about having a pessimistic outlook. Again, this is about really looking at things from a balanced, clear perspective. If you can't go to the movies, if you can't go to a restaurant, if you can't go to a gathering, a concert, even a picnic, the beach, wherever, travel. If you can't travel at will, wait a minute. Wait a minute. It's just, they created just what? This is a shock to your system, because now you're in a larger type of prison cell. Because they're giving you the reasons of why you can't do X, Y, and Z. These so-called powers that be are telling you why you can't do X, Y, and Z. Thereby creating the barriers and the boundaries for you to exist in. That's a prison. You can't do what's natural. And I'm talking about positive acts, being healthy, able mind, body, and doing healthy things, not destructive and evil stuff. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just living a natural, regular life. Can't even do it. What's that going to do to your mind? What's that going to do to the minds of children who can't even play with each other? Who can't even really go to school and interact with each other the way that they once were 6, 7 months ago? Isn't that bizarre? Isn't there something fundamentally wrong? So now different systems are going to be bombarded. We already have a mess with the financial. It's a mess. It's a living mess. Healthcare system inundated, will be crushed. Insurance companies are going to make a ton of money. Certain corporations are winning either way. It's just like in war. You have groups out there that sell to both parties, both sides of the war, so they always make money. They don't even care. So just like in situations like this, there are many people many corporations, many businesses, many entities that you and I will never meet that are profiting off of tragedy and loss. It's a part of life. You don't think pharmaceutical companies are making a killing right now? Even the underground level, quote unquote, black market, you don't think they're making a killing right now? So where's this all going? Where's it going? The depravity, desperation, depression, psychosis, schizophrenia, manic depression, comorbidities, bipolar, borderline. The list goes on. What's going to happen? Anxiety. Kids with their little bodies are forming, growing, have to grow at a social deficit right now. Children have to experience life at a social deficit. What impact do you think that's going to have on them long term? To their self-esteem, to their worth, their self-image. Once, a few months back, I was saying to myself, this is going to blow, when this eventually blows over, the lawsuits that will come will be of epic proportions. Like a new precedent will be set, I believe, by the amount of lawsuits that are just going to be filed left and right. Because people have experienced loss, are experiencing loss to no fault of their own. We don't know the effects of what this will, have on us for years to come. And people want to be whole. You got to blame somebody. This is the situation that we're in right now. You know that medicine, if you think about it, medicine comes from plants. A lot of medicines that we take come from plants. And sometimes I think, I'm like, wow, we're so obtuse, and we lack so much as a species. Forget as a people, as a species, that we in turn, with the power that we have to be able to make advancements, we in turn cause poor decision making to create calamity. Calamity. Instead of being one with nature. For a first world, or a first world in the United States, man, I tell you, we've missed the mark. We're missing the mark at this point. We're missing the mark because I lived my childhood already. I lived through my childhood. But the kids now, where are they headed? Where are they headed? The kids now, children. And we're not just talking about children who are fortunate enough to have families. What about those who don't? Who have to live under these conditions of these formal constraints that countries and policy making is taking place with this, social distancing and wearing a mask and 6 feet apart and etc., etc. What do you think is going to happen to the minds of these children that live in institutions? Children who are mistreated, children who are abused, who are trafficked throughout the world. And they have to live under these extra layer of wicked conditions. When the young people say in New York, there's a lot of young people that say they profess to be outside. We outside. I'm outside. I'm outside. No, I keep it real because I'm outside. You not outside. I'm outside. Well, that narrative was now force fed. The antithesis was no, stay inside. Stay inside. Be quarantined. But the fact that you talking about you outside, youth, kids, children, young people, the fact that you talk about that you outside, what are you doing outside? What is it that you really doing outside? To really experience life in a productive, positive, beneficial, long-lasting, what are you doing outside? Where are the parents? Where are the guides, the guidance? Where's the guidance from the elders? Where's the guidance from people they need to look up to? These kids, they talk about being outside, and they are outside. Aimless, though. Aimless. What do you think is going to happen to their mind, to their mindset, their mental well-being and makeup? What do you think is going to happen long term? Because a lot of times when you hear these people saying, these young kids are saying they're outside, most of the times attached to that being outside is to actually insult others because they're doing nefarious things and they want to make sure that they have one up on their enemies. That's the temperature in the streets in New York City. I'm cool because I'm outside. I walked by a person yesterday. I was going to the convenience store, bodega. Somebody was outside, all right, because I walked by this person. This person was laid out on the ground. On the ground. That's what you find outside with bottles around them. That's what you find outside. Find temptation. That's what you find outside. You find opportunity for wickedness to happen, for crimes to occur outside. Forget about this cloak, this wicked freaking grim reaper called COVID-19, but you outside. What's happening to the mind? What's happening to the mind? When now people can easily do crimes because they're wearing masks, but you outside. Crime has gone up in New York. I'm not surprised. Killings have gone up in New York. I'm not surprised. These movements that are taking, I'm not even going to get into all that in this video, but these movements, these initials, those three initials that, crime is still occurring in the city. Crime is still occurring in these streets. The hood is riddled with still poverty and even more negativity. And a lot of that has to do with the mental instability, the lack of resources, lack of guidance, no hope. Show me your friends, I'll show you who you are. I say that before. I've said that many times. If you're around a person who continually gives you information that does not fortify your spirit in a way where you can take that information and it'll add something of value to your life, then you need to really evaluate your interactions with said person. Because now more than ever, anything and everything you do in life right now, it should tell you, hold on to everything that you have. Count your blessings. Appreciate, be grateful for what you have. Be grateful for having yourself. Be grateful for having yourself. Because at least you know, regardless of how bad things get, if you have yourself, if you have your mind, if your limbs are working, you're able to move up and down without any type of impediment, you still have an opportunity. You still have a chance to change for the better, to allow yourself to experience a greater outcome by doing something more than just saying that you outside, or doing something more than making excuses, or doing something more than just accepting miserable conditions and having the mind of a defeatist, a person who's just like, that's it, they just give up and just let things be how they are. Some people can't help themselves, but those who can, my goodness, always know always know, as long as you have yourself, there's an opportunity waiting for you to take. And do it as quick as possible, because you don't know how long those opportunities will be available, especially in times like now. If you don't have your mind, you're at an extreme deficit. We know this. Don't waste it.